Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Day to Day, the podcast where we explore the joys and challenges of everyday life. I'm Emma.
And I'm Alex. Whether it's personal growth, navigating relationships, or just tackling the chaos of the day, we're here to talk about it all and hopefully help you along the way.
So grab your coffee, tea, or whatever keeps you going.
And let's dive into today's episode. Hey, you know what's been on my mind lately? This whole concept of why we keep choosing the same type of partner over and over again.
Oh, yeah. I've heard that people often end up with partners who have the same personality traits. It's like we're on a loop or something.
Exactly. There's actually been research to back that up. There was this 8-year study where researchers found that individuals tend to have partners with similar personality traits. Isn't that wild?
That's so interesting. It makes you wonder why we do that, right? Like, are we just drawn to what's familiar, or is there more to it?
Well, from what I gathered, it might be both. This pattern could partly be because of our own personality traits, which guide us towards certain environments and people.
Right? Like if you're into sports, you're likely to meet someone who shares that passion. But then some people say it's like an imprint from our experiences, like our first love or formative relationships.
Absolutely. It's like some kind of conditioned response. Say your first partner had a particular quirk or habit that stuck with you. When you see something similar in someone else, bam, you're hooked again.
Kind of like Pavlov's dog, but in a romantic setting. So, are we just doomed to repeat the same relationship patterns forever, or is there a way out?
Thankfully, no, we're not doomed. We can break this cycle. One step is examining past relationships to see the patterns and figure out what we truly need versus what we've been unconsciously choosing.
I love that. It's about becoming aware of our own needs and then maybe stepping out of our comfort zone to find something different.
Yeah, and it involves changing our environment too, right? If you always meet the same type of person at certain hangouts, maybe it's time to explore new places.
That's so true. And psychologists suggest not to be too caught up in the idea of love at first sight, because that can be more about projecting our ideal self onto someone.
Yes, exactly. It's about seeing beyond that initial spark and really getting to know someone as they are, not as we wish them to be.
So it all boils down to being intentional and maybe a bit more cautious about who we let into our lives, which in the long run could lead to much healthier relationships.
Totally. And while it might be tough to break away from familiar patterns, gaining that self-awareness is a good step.
And who knows, maybe we find the partner who complements our real selves instead of the repetitive shadows of our past.
Exactly. And hey, it could even make for some interesting stories. Like our lives are sitcoms and we're finally ready to shake up the cast.
I like that analogy. Maybe a change in cast is just what we need.
Well, with all this reflection and change, I'd say we're on the right path to making more conscious and fulfilling relationship choices.
Absolutely. And remember, listeners, you have the power to step out of those cycles and find your own happiness.
Yep, here's wishing everyone the best in their relationship journeys. Stay introspective and open-minded.
So that's a wrap for today's discussion. We hope you've enjoyed exploring why we're drawn to certain partner types and what we can do about it.
As always, thanks for tuning in, folks. Until next time, keep questioning and discovering.